business has failed, his money is failing, and he's dying of blood clots in his lungs. And so it's kind of brought him back to reality that he can't be a high and mighty piece of shit because now he's poor. So it's just ironic how all of this is fucking happening. It's just absolutely fucking wild. And like I told you before, my aunt, like I was telling you that I was worried my uncle was verging on relapse. Now it's worse. And my aunt was alive when he was verging on relapse. My aunt was alive, and now she is dead, and he is in a
Well,
bad spot.
like I said that one day, does he have anywhere else he can go?
No, nobody trusts him. My uncle kept so.
See, that's so fun because this is I understand that. See, like, cause I can relate because like I've been in that kind of shoes and everything, but and I can also understand that like if I was him, this would be really hard, and I can also understand the fucking mistrust thing. But this is like also at the same time a precise time that he does need attention and like.
No, he does. And we can't move him in because I don't know if I told you about my brother's berserk schizo episode he had on my uncle, where he flipped the table and was trying to beat the shit out of my uncle, who, mind you, is 63 years old. And so I don't know if I told you about that. But so we can't bring him into our home because my brother's a danger to him. And
Yeah.
so he's in my aunt's house right now. You know, my aunt's dead, my uncle's dead. But my uncle Kevin, the one with the failing health, is over at my aunt's house trying to supervise him because apparently there was a smorgasbord of pills and alcohol available there and they cleared it out. So they're watching him. So he is getting some kind of attention. It's just, yeah, he can't come with us because my brother will probably get violent with him. And my fucking uncle's 60 years old. What a pathetic fuck my brother is for doing that. What a pathetic fuck. And so, yeah, and the fact that he did try to get violent with my uncle, is screams bad things would happen if we moved him in, and he can't come here. So it's a total clusterfuck. It's a total clusterfuck, and yeah, my cousins won't take him. My cousins won't take him because of his drug history, and when he goes down the toilet, man, he goes down the toilet. He goes straight to crime. When he relapses, he goes straight to crime, and so they don't trust him because he's shaky. He's on shaky ground. And he was already trying to get out when my aunt and my uncle were alive, but nobody wanted to take him. And so he's in a situation where he can't afford to even move out. And so he's kind of in limbo because when my cousins who are going to inherit my aunt's house sell it, what happens to him? You know, so he's in a really fucked up situation. And I'm sure he's thinking about that. I know he's fucking mourning the shit out of my aunt's life, but I'm sure he's also thinking about what do I do now? You know? And so it's a fucking mess, and I don't know when the funeral is. I don't know when we're doing that.
Well,
Um,
I can tell you right now, his addictions, I'm sure, are literally like it's a fucked up thing, but like I'm sure like drinking meth, heroin, or whatever it is, it's just all like you should do me because uh like you just saw death twice, or
oh,
like, and it's just probably replaying in his mind, and then like just the second thought, or even drinking or whatever. I'm sure that like yeah, I need to drink, like just you know what I mean, of just like I need to delete that thought. I want to feel different. Um,
mhm,
and
mhm.
especially like he probably feels justified to do so, especially more so like 'cause if he was already gonna go kind of try and do this, you know, all like already like with that Colorado trip or whatever, or even just
Yeah,
do something like that around the time. Maybe he wasn't then, but maybe he just around the time he was about to, then um then you would um yeah, just being an addict myself, um I, I I can just see myself in a mirror in that situation.
mhm, mhm.
And just I mean well, not saying that I know fully what he feels, plus also I haven't done everything he's done, but and also I haven't gone through that before. Um I'm pretty sure I've never come across a dead body. Yeah.
Same, same. I
And
couldn't imagine it.
well, and especially just come across a dead body that's a loved one.
Oh yeah, his favorite sister. Well, my mom's his favorite sister, but he was very close to Celeste too, and so I'm sure that fucked him up because he did think she was just sleeping. He thought she was just sleeping.
Well,
And
that
then the
too.
hours
Like
dragged
you were
on.
saying that, I was just all like, that's kind of just itself gotta be kind of fucking you up. But just like just think about it as a roommate or whatever. Just all like I thought my roommate was sleeping. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
it's like that's awful to even.
Yep, because he was like, she didn't wake up after 11 hours, and he went in there and she was fucking dead, dude. Just she looked like she was sleeping, he said, and she was dead. Um, and it's up to my cousins whether they do the autopsy to find out if she offed herself or if she just it was an accidental death, you know,
So are you
because she was coping bad.
um are, are your cousins qualified? Or, I forget what the what that's called.
Fuck, I don't know. I don't know who they ask. Because I
Oh, a
don't know.
corner. A corner.
Yeah. But
There-
my mom was saying it's up to them to decide because they're the children. But I don't know how the fuck that
Oh,
works. I don't know how it works.
wait, but they're doing the autopsy?
No. I don't know
Oh,
if they're going to. Nobody knows if they're going to because part of us thinks they don't want to know. They don't want to know their mom killed herself.
why aren't they
So
doing an autopsy? Doesn't the cops have to do an autopsy regardless?
fuck if I know. I've never had an aunt die. Well, I mean, my uncle Kirk died and shit, but
Well, I
I
just
don't
mean for
remember none of that.
anybody dying though. Don't
Yeah,
they want
fuck
to
if
know?
I know. I don't know. I don't know. I have no
Well,
idea.
especially well, and of course like I don't think your uncle would do this, but think from a cop's perspective. Um,
2 dead people in 2 weeks. Yeah, I don't think my uncle would do
well,
that.
yeah, I don't think so either. But well, just take one of them alone, like your aunt. You know what I mean? Of just all like, well, here's just somebody else in the house. You know, like uh, it could have been the husband. You know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah,
j-
fucking look at him as a suspect. That would be wild. Because
well,
it would be the worst thing possible for him to be looked at as a suspect when I don't think he would have done it, but like he's already in a fragile state, not to mention that he was even before anybody died. And so I think to be put under the lens as a suspect would probably guarantee the nail in the coffin for him. I do. They're all the Brightwisers, dude, are dying. My uncle Kirk killed himself. If my aunt Celeste killed herself, she's the second suicide in the family. My aunt Kathy had a brain aneurysm at the table, and apparently her head just dropped. She just died, like instantly died at the table, because it ruptured in her brain. And now my uncle's dead, which I mean, nobody cares. That sounds so fucked up to say, but nobody does. Nobody cares. He was nice to me and everything, but he was a bastard to my mom, so I'm not too heartbroken that he's dead. I mean, I would never want him dead, obviously, but it's happened, and so everybody just kind of collectively shrugged and went, "Oh well, there goes Mike," and so. But I know my mom would be more damaged if she found out my aunt Celeste killed herself, like my uncle Kirk. I know my mom would be devastated because when my uncle Kirk killed himself was when my mom went full blown alcoholic and pill popper, went full blown alcoholic and stayed that way for like 5 years. Completely just and we think she developed her epilepsy from her mixture of alcohol and pill use, and so that came directly from my uncle Kirk's suicide because my mom loved my uncle Kirk. Um, so 2 suicides would be really hard to handle for her, and we just don't know. Because I know my aunt was doing muscle relaxers. She was popping muscle relaxers a lot. Even before my
I
uncle Mike's
hate
dead.
muscle relaxers.
Yeah, and you mix it with alcohol and it shuts your respiratory system
That's
down.
horror. Just doing muscle relaxers alone. I think I've told you about like I did that shit in high school, and I thought it was gonna be a fun experience because you think muscle relaxers. Oh, I'm gonna feel but no, it wasn't
What does
like that.
happen? What does happen?
Well,
I've never tried them. I don't know what the hell that's like. What does it happen anyways?
so I was in architecture class, and so I took them beforehand, and keep in mind, I've done this actually like before, and I had the same experience, but this is one of those stupid ass experiences where I thought, oh, it'll be different this time. But fucking
I hate that.
well, and then I was just like such an impatient, like dumb fuck. Like back then, like same thing with acid. Like it's like, oh, maybe you should take this at a better time. Nope, I want to do it now. Like, oh, you're giving it to me now? Okay. Like,
Yeah,
and
isn't it? Isn't it?
and so I don't even remember what exactly they were, but I know they were muscle relaxers for sure. And fucking like I don't remember how long exactly it took, but it wasn't long into the class. But I was sitting at my desk, and like I remember just getting like super fucking tired, and then uh, like super like sleepy, kind of tired. But your arms, like it's like an uncomfortable numb and like restlessness, like like if you're when your arm is just like gets to that point where you just have to kind of like use it or whatever,
Uh-huh.
like the muscles or whatever, like your arm feels like it has to keep moving or whatever, or
So,
or even legs will do that.
so does it like paralyze you or?
No, well, maybe I guess I'd assume if you did a certain amount, maybe, but it definitely made it hard to walk. um it's like kind of the best way to it's like making your body drunk and kind of you a little bit, but not like not fun or like comfortable. It's not it was There's nothing comfortable about it.
Damn, what a bummer then, I guess. I've always wondered because I hear muscle relaxers and I go, what the fuck does it do? Make you feel like noodles or what?
Yeah, I mean that's what kind of my idea or thinking was behind it. But yeah, no, it wasn't comfortable at all. And then I remember it was really hitting me hard for my next class, which was it was something forensics. But I remember we were um, my part of the class was like in the lab that day, and fucking part of what I was doing was walking around the room, because if I sat still, I was just like melting basically, because it was so hard to fucking like stand. And so I would kind of walk around, but I tried keeping that minimal and tried not walking around like in direct people's view, because I was walking around kind of like in a drunkish way. Uh, and like I knew that. And then the other thing I was doing is I kept just trying to lean on shit, but it was hard to like I couldn't just lean on something, you know what I mean? It was like it would like turn into one of those like
God damn, okay, so that's what that shit does. I've always wondered that.
yeah, it's not fun. And then I've done it like at home before, like doing it like for fun for the night technically. And yeah, no, it ended up being a fucking miserable experience until it fucking wore off.
Shit. Okay. Well, good to know. Yeah, because I came across them once, but I never did them. I just kind of puzzled. I always thought it was like an anesthesia kind of deal. Just kind of made you, I don't know, fucking
Just
stuck. I
numb.
guess.
I mean, yeah, that's what I thought, but no, well, maybe other people have different reactions, but no, it made me feel numb but restless. Like it just not great at all. I'll be right back. I have to urinate.
No, you're okay. I gotta call my uncle and shit. Okay.
Okay.
Wait. Do you do this regularly now, or when do you do this again?
Well, yeah, I'll be doing it for. I'll still be doing it, but I try and do it every day.
Okay. Okay. Because I do got to take my meds and shit. Not doing kind of soon, but um.
Well,
Okay. Okay.
if you want, if you want to hop back on, I was gonna either game or even pull up some YouTube videos and react or whatever.
Okay, let me see how catastrophic the news is first, because I gotta take into consideration my uncle's shit, and he might want to talk for a while, and I have to consider the damage he's going through right now. So I might have to talk to him for a little bit, but I promise I'm not ditching you. I promise. I
No,
just
you're good.
I had, you know, deaths in the family are not so good, and he's in a dangerous spot, I guess. And so I got to try and be supportive with him because I don't want him to die and then me be like, oh, look, it's just like my Aunt Celeste. I wasn't a participating nephew. Ha ha, just shit like that. That scares me because I feel not so good that I had that happen with my aunt when we were just starting to talk more and more. You know what I'm saying? It's a real shitty feeling as a nephew. It's real shitty because she was trying to make an effort and I wasn't. So I feel obligated to be more so with my uncle in hopes that he doesn't fucking croak on me because that would be that three people, dude. That'd be three. That would be fucking nuts. That would be fucking nuts. My uncle, my aunt, my other uncle, and then soon to be my other uncle Kevin. It's just it's everybody's fucking dying in that family. But I will text you tomorrow. Okay, I promise. I promise. Just let me solve some shit. It's not exactly the best kind of situation right now, but oh.
Okay. I might have lost you, but if you could hear me, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back, and yeah, I'll talk to you. Yeah.
All right, we're back. You grab me a pillow, please.
No.
All right. Shall we? Take a look here. Before I get on the gaming, I wanted to see this real quick. All right, H3 Ethan Klein. I'm suing these three creators, not me.
And Doug.
Okay, here's what you want to do. Save hundreds when Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
Are you a caddy?
No, I'm a Doug.
No, I'm a Doug.
Hi there.
Let's buffer for a second. So I have a terrible computer.
My name is Ethan Klein, and my favorite hobby
Is burning money.
is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers.
And I let it buffer, and it still does this to me. I'm not gonna watch YouTube on here again.
Today, I invite you into my home to share my
Oh, now
favorite
you wanna work.
pastime with you. Join me in creating generational wealth for my attorney. Let me tell you guys a story. About a year and a half ago, it's a big conversation called ReactGate. ReactGate was a debate going on in the streaming community about what constituted fair use. People like Hassan, XQC, and many of the large Twitch streamers would watch other creators' entire video on their stream. They would rarely add sufficient commentary or even pause the video to speak. Most
I do think, yeah, I have seen the difference between like content creators that do reactions, that there's ones that basically let the video play and everything, which basically that is basically stealing. But then you have ones like Asmongold, which I do watch Asmongold quite a bit, and he adds like commentary and pauses quite a bit, so he's actually adding to it and everything. But plus it's been shown in many cases where a lot of content that he watches, he ends up, because he's watching it with all of his audience, ends up boosting who he's watching. And so there are those kind of cases, which I also understand with, like, say, Asmongold, for example. That's not always the case. That doesn't always happen, but but it does. But that the whole fair use and copyright shit does get quite confusing. But yeah.
egregiously, they would re-upload the entire VOD to YouTube with the same thumbnail, the same title, so that they could cannibalize traffic from the original video. Here's what Lamino had to say about this phenomenon.
I don't mind people reacting to my videos, but I do mind when they play the entirety of my video. A face cam in the corner or the occasional interruption does nothing to address that issue. My video is still being played from beginning to end in someone else's stream or video. It's neither ethical nor necessary to
See, let's see. Reaction, original video. So yeah, like there's like this whole like this video specifically, like the whole Denims like shit, where basically she doesn't add any commentary, but then especially at the end, like, I mean, I feel like if you're gonna watch any other person's video that's not yours and everything, like, if you're going to watch it and you don't like it, then just basically, I guess, you can add some criticism, I guess, to a certain degree, but probably not like actually like what Denims did, of just really was malicious, like intentionally trying to get people to not watch his shit, so that way, um, you know, basically get less viewership, and she gets what the viewers he would have gotten. So basically being a vampire of his viewers. And so yeah, in that situation of like, if you're gonna watch, like stuff and everything, either like promote it and cite it and stuff like that, but at least cite it. I think, just kind of like, as you're kind of doing journalism if you kind of think about it. But that's not always the case, and not everyone sees it that way. But in a way, you are bringing to light. You get what I'm trying to say. I'm still trying to get used to my speech, plus other reasons which I will not speak of unless somebody asks. So let's see. We'll get back to the video here.
to feature the entirety of someone else's work. Or, they could do the bare minimum and ask for permission. Something that none of the major reaction channels have ever done when they've...
I think the permission thing, like, I can understand it, but to actually on everything though, like if it's about you, for example, I don't think you should have to ask permission. If it's I don't like if it's like a news thing, for example, like if everyone can see it, it's like public use, like mainly meant for public use. But you can almost say that about almost anything that's on like fucking YouTube because it's meant for the public. But um, I don't know. That's maybe I need to think more on that one.
they've streamed or re-uploaded my videos. But to answer your question, no, I don't want people to stream or re-upload the entirety of my videos.
Now, understandably, this made a lot of people angry because why should these content thieves essentially get more views than the author of the video, which in a lot of cases was happening? I mean, people don't like injustice, and we all see this and know it's not right. This debate culminated when XQC, one of the prime suspects, called into my show to debate me, in which case I'm sad to report that I was terribly owned. So in that regard, do you care at all about like IP or copyright, or like the fact that it's illegal? Does that matter? That it might be illegal, does that matter to you?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if flat out doesn't, because
Well,
Got a craving you can't shake for sizzling, juicy,
Son of a bitch.
mouth goes ah. Flavor only Taco Time can deliver. Grab your all-new grilled steak burrito and quesadilla for a limited.
I don't want taco time. I don't. Myself.
because
But that's fair.
watch me full screen cam, do the fucking worm, and watch your
Do
prime,
that.
then watch
Bro,
your prime
do
content.
it for a week. Do a week of no reaction content and see how many fucking views you get. Oh, okay, sure. I mean, that's
It's a very good point. It is a very
content, man. It's original content, at least. The ultimate debate, bro. He hit him with the worm. Oh, why didn't I think of that first? I kid XQC, but he is not the one I'm suing. Despite my criticism, he's not a malicious infringer. But the ones I am suing, you'll see, are much, much worse. Now, ironically, after this debate,
Cause see, like I try and be like XQC, Asmongold, vice versa. You know, creators like them of just where like how I am now. Like I'm pausing, I'm making my own commentary. Plus, I'm also not trying to like deface or anything like Ethan here or anything. I'm actually a very open-minded individual. I like to see, even if I might not ultimately agree with you, I still like to see where you're coming from. But yeah, because like I mean, it's kind of funny actually how I'm like kind of starting out with this like video that is like specifically about him suing people that are reacting to his shit. And here I am like reacting, but here's like a prime thing. Like in fact, let me do like what I was talking about earlier, which is like this is H3 Productions. Like I'll subscribe. I don't always watch a lot of his stuff, but I have seen some of Ethan's stuff. But yeah, if you want to check out his stuff, uh, especially right now, he's kind of up and coming. Or he has, but then he kind of hit a dip. He's getting attacked quite a bit, and it seems like he's on the upswing again. Is more of what I'm trying to say. I don't know much about him, but yeah. Yeah, if you want to check out the whole video without me talking or me involved, here it is. Back to the video.
debate, and in the wake of this large conversation, the problem seems to have only gotten worse. You have people like Hassan Piker paving the way of fair use with what's known as chair reacts, when Hassan gets up to go to the bathroom or to eat or to talk to his mom or to do whatever, disappears for an extended period of time and leaves the video playing for his chair. Mr. Chair, they call it.
Yeah, see, now, like, on that, like, nobody... you might as well just watch the original, like, for example, if I did that and, like, I didn't add any, like, commentary, I just let the video play, especially if I just walked away or just, like, only played this video, but especially just walked away where you could just see only the chair or the background or whatever, then like I feel like nobody wants to see that, and it's just like one of those things of like, yeah, you could have just watched the original video And it is kind of just insulting to the original creator because it's just all like, oh, you couldn't yourself sit through and watch my content and everything. And that kind of does go off onto the viewers, I feel like. Like I've definitely gotten that feeling when I watch, and just, you know, when you see somebody do that, like it just kind of shows you like, oh, this isn't, if it's not worth their time, then it's probably not worth my time. Which I also, in that same turn, they're kind of like shooting themselves in the foot. The, you know, the reactors who I'm talking about now, of you know, like if they're, I feel like people aren't gonna want to watch them if they keep doing that shit and everything. Especially you hear them get called out for it a lot too. But yeah.
But
IDF had warned people to leave the area around the main airport in Sana. Then this.
This operation will result in killing hostages and captivity, will result in the death of those who have been
Well, I've been seeing
and it was in this setting.
And I mean, I'm not a super internet person, but it does seem like Hassan might be the king, and that's literally his throne. The Share React king.
That I formulated an idea. What if I could make a long form, irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist, they couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published?
I don't have an issue with them.
It's not that I wanted these people to steal my video. It's that I knew they would. I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion. The trap was set, and it worked even better than I imagined it would. We captured pretty much every large streamer reacting to it in its entirety immediately after it was published. Now, the thing is, there were a few people that went above and beyond to commit copyright infringement. For example, Denim sits here silently with nearly 50,000 live viewers. That's 30 times her regular viewership. She's working directly with the Snark subreddit moderators to siphon views, and their intentions couldn't be clearer. Here's an excerpt from a stickied post from the Snark subreddit. Hey everyone, we've seen a lot of comments about wanting to watch the nuke without showing support for H3. Here's a list of creators who've supported our sub, either by engaging with us directly or citing our post in their critique of H3. Here they're offering these streamers as market substitutes for my work. This is the cardinal sin of copyright infringement. The Snark subreddit has been a frequent and persistent infringer. That's how I knew when this video came out, the Snarkers were going to encourage, promote, and push streamers to commit copyright infringement. I should thank the Snarkers, actually. Because of their predictability, they acted like double agents for us, incriminating their favorite streamers and serving them up on a golden platter. So
we got North Star Radio, Comrade Casey Twitch, Brogan, Sean DeBlack, Sean DeBlack, Denims, Central Committee, Mike from PA, Hallucinogender, Casey Tron, Do Not Worry Podcast, Uninformed Leftist.
Thank you, Snark. It's one thing for a subreddit to admit it's engaging in copyright infringement, but how do you get the streamers themselves to admit that they're stealing content?
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime. If you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here.
It turns out they just do it for you. You couldn't cook up a more incriminating statement if you tried. Denim's the...
Yeah. Let's just say unwise. There's a lot of other words I'd love to use, but I'll be nice.
Queen of self-owning, you prevail again. There's one thing about copyright you should know is that you got to register it before you publish to be eligible for statutory damages and attorney's fees, which is the main biting force of a copyright infringement lawsuit. Well, I'm happy to tell you guys now, I, Ethan Klein, have registered Hassan Piker Content Nuke with the United States Library of Congress. Some of you guys out there sweating?
I don't know what that means fully, but to my understanding, basically, like, he had like a lot of people on YouTube have like these unofficial books. Well, he basically made his book that was copied and ridiculed and all this stuff. He went to Congress or whatever, or went to the library in this analogy and made it an official book, published book. And so that way it wasn't just basically a more serious item or idea, I guess, IP, to take serious, especially from a government perspective, which, I mean, it definitely sounds like on paper. I just don't know it myself because I'm not an expert, but definitely on paper, it sounds like he definitely pulled a card out of his sleeve.
Even though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars, but the purpose of this is not financial gain. People like XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing, but I would never sue them just for doing that. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Actually, the opposite. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
The state of...
Yeah, she's an idiot. That was super dumb.
Not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow.
Right there, just you don't do that. Oh yeah, she's fucked. She is fucked.
Follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
Like, and then that's like a twofer right there. She like not only like shit talked it, like, you know, don't like, let me just back it up.
Giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
The state of reaction
And then goes right into just promoting herself for it. So it's like she literally defaced the creator and then siphoned his viewers off, and then all off of his content, like, and everything. If his content wasn't there, none of that, she would not have gained and he would not have lost. And so definitely can see that.
Content on Twitch is so broken, these creators feel comfortable looking right into a camera and saying outright, hey, I'm stealing this guy's content. Pay me instead of him. This is not a healthy environment. And with people like Hassan reacting to entire TV shows on stream, my fear is that Sony or Disney comes along, sues everybody, and sets a devastating precedent that could endanger our entire field. Now, before I tell you who the 3 people I'm suing are, I just want to make it clear that they all met this very specific high bar of criteria that I set forth earlier. These people were not targeted based on their gender, their identity, their political beliefs. All 3 are on this list. In fact, they're the only 3, as far as I could tell, that reacted to the full video. Drum roll, please. Who's sweating at home, guys? Casey Tron, the queen of ripping farts and bong loads.
They do musicals. They're very musical people. I know. Are you being serious? Dog, what do you look? You think I made this?
Frogan, who, bless her soul, she's still rising.
Can I walk away and use the bathroom? Do I have permission? Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
I mean, if you gotta use the bathroom, use the bathroom. But like, if you've gone the whole video or majority of the video, like, I mean, if it happens like once in a while and everything, like, you know, but it's understandable. But like, if you're doing it so much, no.
apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life.
What
And they will
happened?
fucking talk.
And Denim's the queen of self-owning. And my God, is she the queen of that?
It's very obvious from the way that
I definitely feel like Denim's in this situation is definitely the worst. For sure. I don't know how she's going to pull herself out of this.
that guy's talking, he's a Sneeko fan.
Oh my God, bro! I love you, Hassan. Can I give you a hug, bro? I'm so sweaty, bro. I love you, bro.
None of the hostages that have been released so far have said that they've been raped. The hostages have public statements. You can go look at them.
The sexual assault I experienced should never happen to any human being.
This Yemeni kid is just a Yemeni kid with a gun and is not a Houthi, and there is no proof of him being a Houthi.
Are you a soldier? Yes. That seems pretty definitive.
He never said Hassan Nasrallah was a good guy.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen.
Now for the fun part. Let's take a look at the complaints. And let's start with my favorite of the three, the very own, the prestigious, the highly acclaimed, the highly analytical Casey Tron.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. So we're going to watch it.
Well, that's a really dumb thing to say, don't you think? Why are you so comfortable? We've given each complaint a clever little title.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Well, if you guys want to watch the whole video, it's definitely here on YouTube. I'm suing these three creators, H3 Productions. I would definitely check it out. And subscribe, like. Yeah. I honestly, personally think Ethan is going to win.
Titled, and here's Casey Tron's. She smoked more than she spoke. Casey Tron smokes 42 times during her reaction. And just as a silly thought experiment, we thought, wouldn't it be funny if she spent more time smoking than she did talking? And thinking there was no way that that could be true. Well, we tallied them.
It's true.
Up, and lo and behold, there's 15 minutes 40 seconds of commentary versus 18 minutes and 55 seconds of smoking. She spent 3 minutes and 15 seconds longer smoking than she did talking in her quote-unquote reaction. And whatever talking she did was just to express how confused she was, presumably from smoking 42 times.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
The complaint continues. Indeed, Casey Tron is often too obliterated to comment on the nuke, and instead stares blankly at her computer screen. In a span of 2 hours and 7 minutes, Casey Tron smokes marijuana, frequently in highly concentrated forms through vaporizers, on 42 separate occasions. At one point, Casey Tron is so wasted that she states, quote, "What is happening? I'm trying to follow, but I've lost the plot." To give you an idea, the majority of her commentary comes down to this.
I don't understand this bit that he's doing.
He's read more books than you could ever imagine.
CPM's coming out of Qatar.
What the hell
You
is
kids love
going
anime,
on?
right?
He's read more books than you could ever imagine.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
They do musicals. They're very musical people. I know. Are you being serious? Dog, what?
You'd think it would have just been like a few times, but nope. Nope. That many. That many.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
They do musicals. They're very musical people.
42 times. 42 times. And they counted. When it comes to legal shit, they count. Let's see. get it that way. It's you. Papa?
What?
All right. If there's anybody there, should we play Fortnite or something else? What am I meant to? Your papa.
Your grandpa texted me, but you're probably never gonna meet him.
What? The actual. That's really corny. What Vex watching? What did he say?
My dad?
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Okay. I'm trying to get reinforcements.
I'm sitting here just in the baby.
Oh, I just got notified about something. Okay, hold on. What's this update about?
Also, I want to say, I said this earlier, obviously, but you know, just real quick, just so you guys know, yesterday I wasn't on, and I think everybody kind of was aware of that. People were asking. I'll go ahead and just talk about it for a minute, since you know it was like I said it like first 5 minutes of the stream. Yesterday, on Friday, my dad got sick, and he's been sick, and so you know, we kind of agreed. On Sunday night, we were like, okay, well, if things don't improve substantially by Monday, tomorrow we're going to the hospital. Well, yesterday was Monday and we went to the hospital. And so took him into the emergency room. They admitted him into the hospital. He's there getting treatment now. I don't know how long he's going to be there, their understanding or belief is that they think it's pneumonia, but we'll find out. And so that's pretty much it. I mean, he today, obviously, I've been calling and checking in. His vitals and everything are fine. They were worried because he was complaining about everything, but it seems like otherwise things are okay. So that's pretty much where we're at. Is if it's fixable, that's good. I hope that it's fixable, right? This is pneumonia number 6. That's right. Number 6 in 2 or 3 years.
Damn. Hold on, I gotta see this. That's not the main one I wanted to see of his that I just got notified, but that was also there and I was interested.
In the past 24 hours, let me get this straight. Iran bombed a base in America. Trump said LMAO, you missed. This is Trump talking about basically, so he set up last night. Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace. I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. They have so much to gain and yet so much to lose if they stray from the road of righteousness and truth. The future for Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with promise. God bless you both. Right? So he goes.
I feel like this whole shit with Iran, and I feel like America's mostly taking credit. I mean, yeah, like we're helping in a big way with like that B2 shit, but I just don't. Sorry, I got distracted by that one. But yeah. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I feel like we're taking credit. I do feel like we're taking credit. Yeah. I really don't know. I feel like we need to honestly just kind of like we did some shit and we just need to pull out, honestly. In my opinion. And just in my opinion. In my opinion. Not saying that's what we should do, in my opinion. Like we helped. I feel like the more we get in, the more fucking we're gonna be looked at, like, basically in every angle of just all like, look, doing things wrong, doing things right, or need to do things, don't need to do things. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna get messy, and this is gonna be kind of one of those situations, I feel like, where it won't matter what we do or what we don't do. We're just gonna have enemies, and just because we stuck our toe in this pond, we're fucked.
Goes and he says this shit, right? And I mean, if they stray from the path of righteousness and truth, how do you believe in Trump? Well, because it worked. That's the reason why people believe in this guy, because he does insane shit and somehow he comes out ahead. That's the reason why. I mean, it shouldn't work. It shouldn't happen. There's no reason for this to happen. It defies all logic and rationality. No, it didn't. Well, no. Okay, so then, well, it didn't work though. Well, now it is working again. So it didn't. Okay, so he says that there's a ceasefire. He's promising there's a ceasefire. Everybody's saying is that, Trump, should get the Nobel Peace Prize. Everything is going really well. This was a moment.
Now, we're hearing incredibly optimistic views coming out of the White House as far as how long this can hold and what this is going to look like.
Yes.
That obviously still remains to be seen on the implementation side of this, and waiting to see if the firing does stop and if Iran and Israel do both agree to this. Because, speaking of the fluidity of the situation, it was just 24 hours ago that President Trump himself was suggesting a regime change in Iran was a possibility. And obviously right before that, having the United States strike Iran. And so,
of course,
yes, there have been a lot of phone calls going back and forth. In part, this has to do with Iran's limited response earlier, where they fired on a U.S. base in Qatar, but there were no casualties.
Yep.
We know that they did give a heads up that they were going to be firing on U.S. bases without exactly specifying which ones.
I mean, how is it like? How do they just tell you, like, yeah, we're going to bomb you, by the way?
But that is the question here.
Yeah,
is
just
if
by the way,
the United States felt that it did not need to respond to the Iranian retaliation, did that create the space for this? That is what we've been hearing from administration officials. And so the question is whether or not this still holds for the next few hours.
And so they're trying to second guess Donald, right? They're saying like, oh, bro, this shit's not going to happen. Then in the middle of the broadcast,
Caitlin, I just been given the word that Iran, according to a diplomat who briefed CNN, Iran has agreed to the ceasefire. So this is.
I feel like neither side's going to hold the ceasefire. Well, for example, just like what happened today, just like with Iran hit the shoots, Israel retaliates. It's going to be this never-ending cycle until somebody uses a nuke. I feel like, hopefully not, but
significant. I just want to try to learn some more information as soon as we get it about that. But if that is the case, that's incredibly significant, because that is, we were waiting. We had not heard from Iran. We had not heard from Israel. All we were going on so far has been the president's social media post, which was some 2 hours ago. So again, that is the first indication we have that Iran has agreed to this.
Well, there we go. And so anyway, this is how it is. And, everybody was happy and things were going very well. And so then right after that, obviously, oh, by the way, the House passed a bill to defund the Taliban. I don't know how that exactly happened, but, that's where we're at. And so and then there's this guy, too.
Reports that Iran has targeted U.S. military bases and U.S. service members in the Middle East, putting the lives of thousands of Americans at immediate risk. I join Americans. I pray for their safety. This afternoon, I asked the Trump administration to immediately provide a classified briefing laying out the full threat picture, the intelligence behind Iran's retaliation, and the detailed scope and timeline of any U.S. response.
So he's very unhappy.
More importantly, I've demanded they lay out exactly what measures they're taking right now to keep our service members safe. As I said Saturday night, Congress and the American people are owed answers. No president should be allowed to unilaterally march this nation into war with erratic threats, no strategy, no explanation.
Man.
That's why I've called on Leader Thune to hold a vote immediately
That's crazy.
to enforce the war powers.
Yeah, definitely check him out. I love Aspen. Yeah, he's shit. If I can actually, there we go. And then we'll give him a like as well. Yeah, give him a check. But yeah, we'll go back to what we were working on here. Okay. What to play? Want coupon. Well, let's see. What can we play? I think we'll do some Stardew for a little bit. Maybe a little bit of Fortnite, possibly. I'll be honest, getting into Fortnite is kind of hard. I do like the season though. I like the power shit. But a lot of the time it can be hard to get into. It just feels kind of empty of a game. I mean, yeah, you level up, but for what? Yeah, still a lot of work to do. I'm just about on my year 3. I got this sword. Believe it or not, it's incredibly sharp. You can tell with this pixelation. And we got steel pickaxe, steel axe, a hoe, a scythe, copper watering can, a milk pail. Alright, here's my skills. They all hate me. I'm just kidding. I'm kind of a swell guy. I just don't like Giving gifts every damn day. There's a dark side to this game. My animals.
When I go home and I have time to reflect, there will be, a lot of happy memories, a lot of proud moments. I take a lot of good things for me. I think it was a really well thinking. Surreal. This whole thing is surreal. I mean, you're say you're freezing control your base and that we're just going around and then the middle of this. Genuinely, I can't process it all. It's mad. In the final of the Great British Takeover, the actual final. It's
Yeah. I told you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a mad mom, which means we have a dad in the doghouse. To be continued.